Well, hello and good morning. I am so excited for the adventure I'm embarking on today and will be enjoying over the next couple days. I'm not really sure how long it's going to take me, but I stayed in this cute little town last night because there was a small snowstorm and I just didn't want to be out in high desert mountains during the snowstorm in case it ended up being worse than it was forecasted. I didn't want to risk getting stuck, especially because it's a cold storm warning right now, which I've never seen before, but my understanding is that it's just like an influx of extremely colder than normal air. So I stayed here in town. I had a shower, which feels amazing to have clean hair. It feels so nice, but it was such a beautiful start to the day. You love this, don't you? Hey. Look at your cute face. So yeah, I've just been hanging around, just like letting the front windows thaw a bit because they were really frozen inside. This route I'm going to be trying to do over the next couple days, I attempted back in May 2020, but northbound, and somewhere in the maze of those dirt roads, I got turned around and I ended up in California instead of in Oregon. So this time I'll be entering from the north, so hopefully I actually end up in Nevada and not in California. But we'll see. So, yes, I am excited, and I'm so excited to finally be going back to Nevada. So I just pulled off the main road to check in on the internet one last time because I'm about to enter one of the largest cellular dead zones in the contiguous USA. It is a little less snow on the ground this side of the mountains, so that's pretty sweet. I don't know what's going to be up ahead, but we're just going to take it as it comes. And before that happens, I just want to take a quick minute to tell you about today's sponsor. Are you going to live in a van your whole life? Who are you? I'm the you that actually thinks about our future. Well, then if you're me, surely you know that I love living in my van. Yes, I'm well aware, but I also know you've always thought of having your own place. You're right, but housing is so expensive and buying raw land feels really unattainable in Canada. Well, lucky for you that you love it down here because there's a lot of land available. Okay, well, how do I find all this land? Wait, why are you bringing this up? Well, for starters, I know how you get land lust when you're driving through this wide open country. And Discount Lots happens to be sponsoring this video. Who? Discount Lots. Here, let me show you. At discountlots.com, it's easy to navigate their website, and you can visit tons of home sites in many different states in the US without having to move an inch. The property descriptions are clear, and they have a lot of exclusive off-market listings, which you won't find anywhere else. They offer owner financing terms or easy monthly payments, so you don't need to pay the whole amount at one time, and you can buy land for as little as $200 a month. There's no extra fees, and there's no credit checks, background checks, or income checks, which means anyone has the opportunity to purchase land regardless of their credit situation. Buying land has never been this easy. All you have to do is go to discountlots.com, choose the property you want, click buy now, and voila, you're done. The Discount Lots team will take care of everything. All you have to do is simply put in your credit card, review, and sign the contract. That's basically it. Did you at least come here with like some sort of a discount for me or something? Yeah, actually I do. Let me tell them. So if you've been interested in buying some land, head to discountlots.com and use code DLAlpine10 at checkout to save 10%. All right, I'll let Amanda take you back to the misadventure she's about to have. So I entered Nevada just a little bit back there, and the sign said the road is not maintained and it's closed. And I'm driving it. There's been a couple exciting snow drifts, but so far it's chill driving. It's really nice to be breaking trail, and I got lots of gas, so if I decide to turn back, I know I'll make it. Would you look at that? I'm on plowed road. Out of nowhere. It just was suddenly plowed. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. It's a fun adventure. It's a fun adventure. So we just got out for like a pee break, and I'm just like walking over this flat feature, something different, and I realized it's a frozen lake. You want to go back inside, bud? So the sun is getting pretty low in the sky, and things escalated rather quickly a couple hours ago, and I've just put the max tracks back on the van, and tomorrow I'm going to be making my way into California because it's not possible for me to continue. It's freezing out here. I'm gonna go inside where it's warm. I'm gonna catch you up on what just went down. Okay, so I'm just like a little shaken up still, but I just want to tell you this story and move on with my night. So, I was having the time of my life, honestly. Like, one of the greatest, most enjoyable driving experiences ever. The snow was, you know, like minimal to like an inch and a half deep. Everything was good, and just like gently climbing, gently, like hardly noticed I was climbing. And then I started to get like a couple like more like slight hills, and there'd be like these snow drifts, and they were getting a little deeper as I went, and I, you know, got like a little woo, just like a couple times, like got over the hill, and I was like, okay, like it's fine. You go down, and it's like not much snow, and I was like, okay, it's fine. Like everything's been fine so far. And then it wasn't. I was stuck. I was very stuck. The snow drifts got very deep. I did not make it up the hill, and so I just backed down to the bottom of the hill, and I went forward, and I got a little further. And I did that a few times, just backing down the hill, going back up. And I thought, you know, I'll just get to the top of the hill, like through the snowdrift, and it'll be fun. I'll just cruise. And then one of the times backing up, I like slid a bit and got stuck. So that's when I got the max tracks out, and I had to set them twice to get unstuck and back in the tracks. So after the second time, I'm in the tracks, I'm unstuck. As I went to like grab the first traction board after getting unstuck, I found something on the ground that didn't belong on the ground. It belonged on my van, on the suspension. It was the end cap for the passenger side lower control arm bushing rod that basically holds the lower control arm onto the van, and that had come off. So that was unsettling. I put it in the van, I put the traction board in the van, and I go to get the second one, and I can't find it. I couldn't find it. I got my shovel, and I'm digging, and I'm digging, and I dug out, like, on my hands and knees, like, dig out the whole, like, track. And I couldn't understand where it went, and I was digging, and I was like widening it, and poking around, and I just couldn't find it, and I couldn't find it, and I was getting really frustrated, and of course, like, I'm still shaking, because, like, I haven't gotten out of there, and so I was like, okay, well, you know what, like, it's windy, there is wind blowing into my track still, like, the snowdrifts are still forming, so I backed up to like a spot where the snow was shallower. I walked around and tested a bit, and then I did like a 20-point turn to like get turned around, because like at this point, like I've decided like I'm not going forward. Like I'm not willing to put on chains to insist on going forward. So I'm turned around, I go back to looking for the traction board, and I finally get my trekking pole and poking around, and like, you know, after close to an hour of looking in the freezing cold, like bitter wind, I find the board. And what had happened is it had like, I had like backed up, and it shot sideways like into the middle between the tracks, and you know, and it's like flattened down from like my undercarriage, so there's like no sign of anything in there. So I did find it, and then I put the suspension piece like back on hand tight, got a cloth, like cranked as much as I could, because I don't have a wrench big enough to tighten it down. And so then I've been driving slowly out of here. So I think I drove like 10 or 15 miles slowly, and then the sun got low, and there happens to be this like water tank with this like it's got like a pole and a white thing on a solar panel, and it makes cell phone service. I have service out here, I have data only within sight of that tower, and like there's not supposed to be any service out here. So I'm spending the night here. I'm gonna feed myself, I'm gonna feed Frank, I'm gonna calm down, I'm gonna be nice and Gallard for tomorrow. I'm gonna continue slowly. Also, while I was driving slowly, like every like kilometer, which would be 0.6 miles, I would stop and I would get out and I would inspect the suspension and make sure the piece was there in case it had fallen off. I didn't want to have to walk super far to go get it, so I have to go not to the next town but the town after to get to mechanics. The thing is that the plan, the goal wasn't to just get through at all costs. It wasn't like no matter what I'm getting through here. The plan was, as it always is like I'm going to go forward, and as long as it's cool, I'm going to keep going. And at some point when it's not cool, then I'll go back. And like that's how I've always conducted myself on these like back road adventures, and I like that. I like finding out for myself where the line is and respecting it and turning back. And so that's what I did today. So, you know, I'm proud of myself for that. Now that I'm here with service, I looked at the satellite imagery, and the road, although it starts to drop in elevation, like where I got stuck, that was at 1900 meters elevation. And although it does start to go down in elevation, it's a lot more like bumpy, so a lot more likely to have places where snowdrifts would form, based on what I've experienced out here, where the snowdrifts are all on the north side of these hills. But yeah, I do feel like I'm probably about to cry pretty soon, so I'm just gonna like lay down and space out for a little bit, settle myself, and then I'll pick you back up and we'll make some sort of extra special indoor meal because I'm not cooking outside tonight. Coriander. Frank, I'm talking to the camera, Frank. I didn't mean to startle you. A little salt. A bunch of marjoram. And a little pepper. Cumin. So I went through quite the roller coaster of emotions after I last talked to you. I just like vacillated between laughing, being on the verge of crying, and feeling incredibly powerful. Yeah, I mean, I live for this. I love this kind of stuff, and I trust myself to gauge accordingly. Even though this was a very, very risky thing to attempt, given the cold, especially just given the cold, right? Like, that's the most dangerous thing here in this environment at this point in time. So, yeah, so the plan right now is I'm going to have one of these cans of vegetable lentil soup, but I just wanted to make it like a bigger meal and just like tastier. So I got these veggies cooking, and when they're soft, I'll add the garlic, and then I'll add this, and once it's all warm, I'll have a big meal. Okay. That was far better than how it comes out of the can. My face is a little windburnt. This feels so good. Oh, good morning. Nothing quite like waking up and going out to pee in 1 degree Fahrenheit to wake you up. But yeah, I don't actually keep the heat on all night because otherwise it gets too hot in here. My heater's kind of weird, and lately it's just been going into like hyperdrive, like super mode, and just cranking full blast constantly. So I wait till it gets like warm in here, I turn it off, I fall asleep. A couple hours later, I wake up chilly, I turn it back on. I just do that all night. Yeah, otherwise it's just, I wake up to like frank panting, like very uncomfortable. It's just, yeah, so weird. So I'm just gonna take it easy this morning. I'm gonna enjoy some tea and yeah, just get ready for whatever the day may brings. Once I come on the road, I want to be well nourished. And I'm just gonna hope for the best. I know that driving is risky with that piece like not properly attached. Good, it's still there. I've checked a couple times. Oh, it's like lightly snowing, or it's just like the fog precipitating. 12 miles down, 42 to go. But we're back on proper maintained roads, although I think it's dirt until we get into California, so still a bit to go, but so far so good.
Welcome to California.
Pavement, instantly. So I made it to a town, but there's no mechanic here. I knew that. So I have 24 miles to go. I just checked on it. It's still there, but it took a good quarter turn to snug it down. So I did that, and I feel a little more confident that we're gonna make it, but anything could happen. So yeah, let's continue. 6 miles to go, and it's still snug. So we get to the mechanic with no issues. I did have to tighten it that one time, but they're getting us in here right away, and they have this couch. So we get to hang out like in the shop while I work on my van. So yeah, it feels good. It's been a really good adventure, honestly. I'm not upset about it. So the mechanic was actually fully booked for 2 weeks, which is standard with mechanics these days, but they try really hard to get travelers in as soon as possible. And they were just the nicest guys. They were so helpful, and showed me everything that was going on and explained what was going on, and even walked me through how I could put in a lift kit myself, which was really nice to have like mechanics talk to me like I know what they're talking about, because for the most part, I kind of do, not as well as they do, but I can follow the conversation and like, you know, so it felt really good. I felt really good there, and it was really nice to have that comfy place to hang out inside, which Frank liked. The shop was heated. We were in and out of there within a half hour, and what had happened is the lower control arm, there's like a rod that goes through, and there's these two end caps that screw on, and one had come off. Well, it had come off because the control arm, the metal, there was like a little chunk missing, so it couldn't like sit in properly. And so they just welded it in place. They just welded it together, and it's held up great. So yeah, at some point I could replace the entire unit, but they said I don't necessarily need to. So hopefully that's correct. And yeah, it was really cheap, and you know, we didn't make it through our route through the mountains, but I'll try again when there's no snow. It's a nice drive in there. I do enjoy it. There's some spots I want to visit again, so I look forward to being back someday. But for now, it was a matter of, you know, not pushing it. I didn't want to have to get other people involved. This was an adventure in F around and find out, and I did, and I found out, and that was great. That's a great way to learn. And I kept my cool, and I had a good time, and you know, that's just what adventures are like. And I'm just not the type to play it safe all the time and to like live in a bubble of perceived safety. I like to get out there and try my hand at some stuff. So that's what I did. So everything turned out really well, and yeah, we just happened to end up in California again. But yeah, that's it for this video. So hopefully you enjoyed coming along for my little misadventure. If you did, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you haven't already. I got some great stuff coming up to share with you. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. A huge thank you to patrons. And I got a cute clip of Frank to send you off on your way as usual because he's adorable. So yeah, thanks. I'll see you soon.